Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Source. College Football Saturdays here, so I'm pumping out videos. Got a Big 12 matchup here. We got Baylor versus Kansas. Interesting one. Let's dive in.
Welcome to The Source. The Source. Source. Hey, get the Source.
All right, we got Kansas on the road in Baylor here. This line opens up Baylor minus 10.5. That was the look-ahead line. Then after the Saturday games are played, this line reopens at Baylor minus 9. Early public kind of even some sharp money in on Kansas. Yo, check out this crazy roller coaster line movement in this game. So by Wednesday afternoon, this line had dropped all the way down to Baylor minus 7.5. But then some Baylor money starts coming in. Now here we are on Friday night. We're all the way up to Baylor minus 10 again. To be honest, I don't really want to look too deep into the line movement in this game because the media coverage of the quarterback injury situation for both teams was kind of weird. First, Jalon Daniels is going to play. Then he's still out. Then it's like Blake Shapen left last week with a concussion. And then he's ruled. Then we find out he's practicing. He's going to play. So I think the line movement was a result of the news breaking on the quarterback injuries, to be honest. So let's cap this game. If you subscribe to this channel, you already know the first step. We're running the numbers through the spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Baylor minus 8.64. So it's a very slight 1.5 point lean towards the Kansas Jayhawks. All right, so let's break the matchup down. And one thing you got to give this Kansas Jayhawks team, they can light up a scoreboard, man. Yo, on the season, Kansas Jayhawk football games are averaging 70.14 points per game. Over 70 points a game. They completely embody the old school Big 12 shootout. There's no such thing as defense type football. And the analytics completely back that up too. Kansas is number 22 in OFEI, number 110 in DFEI. One of the best offenses in the country, one of the worst defenses in the country. Now, one thing you do notice, though, when you look at the Kansas schedule is they've taken advantage of some bad defenses. I mean, look what they did against Iowa State. Final score of that game was what, 14-11, 14-10, something like that? Only 14 points when they played an actual defense. In the other 6 games on their schedule, they're averaging 44.5 points a game, but 14 against Iowa State. So that very well may be an indication of what this Kansas team is when they play an actual defense. Which brings us to our next question. Is Baylor an actual defense? If I was making this video like 3 weeks ago, I'd be like, hell yeah, Baylor's defense is official. But we've seen some shaky play out of them in recent weeks. I mean, they gave up 36 points to Oklahoma State, but I gave them a pass there. There was like a couple big special teams plays, couple turnovers. I thought the Baylor's defense as a whole played pretty solid in that game, despite giving up 36 points. But their last game against West Virginia, I'm not giving them a pass there. West Virginia hung 43 points and 500 yards of offense on Baylor. The West Virginia Mountaineer offense is pretty good, but it's not nearly as explosive as Kansas offense. So if you're planning on betting Baylor here, that should concern you, what West Virginia just did to the Baylor defense. And that's obviously the main factor here, because we know Baylor's going to score in Kansas. Are you kidding me? Kansas defense is so bad. Baylor could put up 30, 40 points in this game, running or passing. I mean, whatever they wanted their game plan to be, Blake Shapen could throw for 400 yards, and they could put up 35 points that way, or Baylor can rush for 250, 300 as a team, and they can put up 35, 40 points that way too. They're going to be able to do whatever they want on this Jayhawks defense. In my opinion, the way you bet in this game comes down to what you think of the Baylor defense. Is it the Baylor defense that went on the road to BYU and held the Cougars to just 360 yards of offense? Or is it the Baylor defense we saw last game against West Virginia that got completely lit up? Personally, I think the Baylor defense is undervalued. If you take out the West Virginia game, they've been solid all year. And a couple scores in there that are a little misleading as far as their defense. Also, look at this Kansas team. They may have been able to make some plays in the last 2 weeks with Jason Bean at quarterback, but the truth is, this team started off undefeated. Jalon Daniels, their quarterback, goes down. They haven't won a football game since. So Jason Bean's still at quarterback, Jalon Daniels still out, and I'm fading Kansas. Give me Baylor minus 10. Let's lock it in. I'm on the Bears here. If anything changes with this bet, I'll let you know on Twitter, so give me a follow there if you're interested. Also, if you want the final tickets that I do, bet of the day, underdogs of the day, parlays of the day, top 7 bets, that kind of stuff, head over to kylekerms.com or download the Sauce Network app. College Football Saturday, Week 8. We're cruising through the season. We're having a pretty good one. We're up like 9.5 units, something like that. Let's have a nice weekend. I'll talk to you on Twitter.